Okay guys, so now we're back with number 4. A table below shows the height of a plant after a given number of weeks. Use the table to answer the question below. So here's the table, plant growth, we have time in weeks, and the height. So it says which equation below can be used to represent the relationship between the plant's height and the number of weeks that have passed. Okay, so we're going to first start by labeling, okay, this is my X, this is my Y, and I'm going to say, okay, let me find the y-intercept first, and then I can try and find the slope, so I can write my equation. So my y-intercept on a table is where x is equal to 0, the other y value, that's my y-intercept. So I already know, okay, my y-intercept right here is going to be equal to a plus 6. That's like my starting height of the plant. So it's already 6 centimeters tall before any time has passed by. So I come to my answers. This one is plus 4, so I cross it out. This one's plus 4, cross it out. This is plus 6, the one I'm looking for, and then plus 6. So now I only have 2 answers to choose from. Now let me look for my slope. I have to say, okay, how is the y changing? How is the x changing? So to go from 16 to 21, I'm changing by 5. So plus 5 is the change in y. To go from 2 to 3, I'm changing by 1. So plus 1 is the change in x. So plus 5 divided by plus 1, 5. And that's my slope. So my slope should be equal to 5. So now out of these two, this is a 10x, and this is a 5x. The 5 is what I was looking for. So letter D should be my correct answer. And that's my equation for this line. If I go to the next question, it says, what does the y in the equation represent? So remember, we have all of our equations of a line, they go y equals mx plus b. Like that's usually the form that we start with. So the m is the slope, right here. The b is the y-intercept. Those are the easiest to remember. But now we need to know, okay, what does the y stand for? What does the x stand for? The y stands for the dependent variable. It depends on everything else that's going on in this right side of the equation. So depending on what these numbers are, when they multiply them and add them together, this y value is going to depend on all of those. And then the x is the independent variable. So this is part of the calculation over here. I have to multiply it by the slope and then add the y-intercept. So let's go ahead and look at the answers and see, which one goes with which. What does the y in the equation represent? The y is the dependent variable, so letter B. What does the x in the equation represent? The x is the independent variable, letter D. Okay, number 5. Use the graph below to answer the following questions. This is one we did in class together. But again, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with line A, because it's saying which equation represents line A. I go to where it crosses the y-axis. It crosses at plus 4. So I need to look for the y-intercept of plus 4. It's either letter C or letter D. So I say, okay, I'm going to cross the other ones out. And now I see that the line is going down and to the right. So it starts up here at the left corner and then goes down and to the right. Whenever it's going down and to the right, that means my slope is negative. So it's like a minus sign or a negative slope. So I have a 2x right here and then a negative 1/2 x right there. Letter D is my correct answer because it has the negative slope. So then the next one, which equation represents line B? So line B is going horizontal. It's completely flat. Right here, it crosses right here at y is equal to negative 2. It never touches any of the x-axis. So that means that my equation will just be y is equal to negative 2 because it has a y-intercept of -2. And all the points on the line, they're all equal to y equals -2. It doesn't matter where you go, they're all equal to it. So this one's letter B. The next one, which equation represents line C? Line C, again, if we go back and look at it, it has the same y-intercept as line A. So we have to say, okay, the y-intercept for line C was +4. So I have to say, okay, this one is +4, this one is +4. And then I look, the line is going up and to the right. So when it's going up and to the right, that means I have a positive slope. And the 2x right there is positive, so my answer would be letter C. So I've had one that was letter D, one that was letter B, one that was letter C. So the only possible answer that's left over for line D would be letter A. X is equal to -2. And again, you can double check it. Does the line cross X at -2? Yes, it does right there, and it never crosses the y-axis, so it's only going to have the X value there. Okay, moving on to number 6. Lindsay made and sold necklaces to her friends at summer camp. The graph below shows the amount of profits Lindsay made depending on the number of necklaces she sold. Use the blue line on the graph to answer the questions. Okay, so I'm going to go over here, I'm going to look, okay, the y-intercept or my starting point is at -15. So maybe that means that she had to buy supplies or buy like something to make the necklaces. So she's starting off at a negative amount. That's her starting point. Then we still have to find the slope. So we still have, I'll pick these 2 points right here and say, okay, the slope, she's going up 2 boxes. But I can't just put +2. I can't do that. Why? Because I'm starting at 5 right here and going all the way up to 15. So that means I'm actually going up +10. And then so +10 is my change in y. Now my change in x, I'm going just one space or one square, but I can't just say +1 because I'm going from 4 all the way to 6. So from 4 all the way to 6 is actually +2. So now my change in y is 10, my change in x is 2. 10 divided by 2 equals 5. So my slope is equal to +5. So now I can say, okay, let me write my actual equation now. Y equals mx plus b. That's the form. And then I say, okay, what is m? My slope is m, so my slope is 5. What is b? My y-intercept is -15. So my equation is now y equals 5x minus 15. So again, that was just to write the equation so I can solve this actual problem. It says if Lindsay sold 52 necklaces, how much of a profit did she make? So how much money is she going to make if she sells 52 necklaces? So I'm going to just put that in to the equation right where the x goes. Because again, necklaces sold is the x, profit is the y. So my profit depends on how many necklaces are sold, how much money I make for each of them, and then I have to still subtract the money that I owed. So 5 times 52, if I multiply it, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 5 is 25, plus 1, 260. 260 minus 15 is 245. And so my y value, or the profit that I would make, is $245. Letter C. That's the profit she would make if she sold 52 necklaces. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video one more time, and then we'll continue when we come back.